Hello, everybody. Slim Kirby is here. Slim Kirby is back. And, what's that? We're done with 40 games? Well, I guess you know what that means. I think it means it's time to start pulling the next 10. So, as usual, before we get to the next game draw, where we'll be picking the next 10 games of this series, as usual, I'd like to do a quick little status update on the current state of the challenge, how it's going, how the last 10 games went, for those who just want to kind of check through, just a brief summarization of everything we went through. So, let's go ahead and bring that list of games up here, which I believe this is it. I'm going to try to make it a little bigger here. Okay. So yeah, these were the 10 games that we played over the last month, I'd say. Let me also pull up something else. Not that you guys won't see this, but this is for me, just so I have something to reference. Yeah, so I started this list of games. I'll get to that in a second, Mega. I started this list of games on February 28th, literally the last day of the February month. And I finished it April 6th, which is today. It took me a little longer than a month, and it's funny, I was mentioning this before, but like, most of that time was just spent on one game. Most of that time was literally spent on Dave Mirra, more than anything, but I think even with that, this was the shortest batch so far in terms of time. I could probably find out what Mega wants me to find out. Let me do... And see, this is a weird case where, like, some of these times may not even be final. Because I might go back to, like, Link to the Past at some point to do the Four Sword stuff. According to this, it says 35 hours and 42 minutes, which that doesn't seem right, but... Okay, no, because Dave Mirra, Mario Party and Fire Pro Wrestling together is about 20 hours. 3, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12. Close enough, I guess. Okay, yeah, and as was pointed out earlier, Dave Mirra was also the only game that took more than one session. So yeah, there's some that probably could have. Like, I could have probably split up Mario Party Advance instead of trying to marathon that whole thing at once. But, it is what it is. But, yeah, let's go very quickly go through this list, because I know that a lot of you guys are probably more interested in the actual, game selection process more than anything. So, we started with Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and Four Swords. Excellent game. The first 5 in both... not in... Technically, it's not the first 5 in overall game quality, because I didn't have that statistic at one point. And I did give a 5 to Advance Wars. But in both game quality and personal enjoyment together... Link to the Past and Four Swords was the first 5 out of 5. It's a game that I know a lot from my many years of Randomizer, and it's just a classic game to begin with. It's just a really, really great game. Really love it. Like I said, we'll go back to it at some point for the Four Swords content, but I wanted to just do the single player stuff first. And yeah, that's the first game we played. It was a great way to start. Really enjoyed it. Figured I would, obviously, but yeah, that's how we started this batch. Then the batch got kind of eh. We had the Invincible Iron Man and Peter Pan Return to Neverland. I did not really care for either of those games. Invincible Iron Man was just, it was really hard, and like contact damage should have not been a thing because it just made that game so much more tougher than it needed to be. And it was just very awkward to control. It could have been like a really good run and gun Mega Man like game, but it just did not really do that well. I was not too impressed. And Peter Pan Return to Neverland was not much better. It was honestly kind of boring. Return to Neverland was just not really that fun for me. Both of them got ones for both enjoyment and quality, in my honest opinion. I could probably give Iron Man a little more points in game quality, but I just did not really see a reason to, honestly. It was just, yeah, it was not great. After that, we had Top Gun Firestorm Advance. I actually kind of enjoyed this one. It was a really good, like, kind of like overhead combat plane shooter. And unlike the Jungle Strike, Desert Strike games that were like, on the SNES and Genesis, this one was actually really good. I had a lot of fun with it. There were some funny memes that happened throughout with like the mission fail screen, and it just controlled very well. It was a fun game to play through. It didn't take too long either, so it was a really, really nice game. So yeah, it was actually a kind of a surprise for me personally, from this personal batch. Not the biggest surprise though, which we'll get into that shortly. The game after that, we have the longest game of this batch. We had Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2. Basically a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater clone, but with bikes. If anything, the only thing this game really did was get me to appreciate the Tony Hawk games more, because even though like I didn't really care for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 that much, I at least felt it controlled a lot better than what Dave Mirra's Freestyle BMX did. It just felt really, really awkward to play, and it just kind of dragged on a bit. The only thing it kind of had going for it was like it did kind of progress in a good way, where with Tony Hawk it's just like you complete what you can and come back later, while Freestyle BMX was more you actually complete everything as you're going through the game. And I kind of appreciated that system more, but I think overall, I think Tony Hawk at least controlled better. So, yeah, wasn't too crazy about Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2, but there's another game we have, and apparently there's a lot of other BMX games too. Apparently there's a whole, like, Matt Hoffman BMX series as well as a Dave Mirra one, so it's like they couldn't decide who gets the ultimate rights, so they went to different developing companies, I guess. Next up was Muppets On With The Show, the shortest game, which is surprisingly, it probably should have been Strawberry Shortcake, but no, I think Muppets was even shorter. Muppets On With The Show was really just a minigame collection. Only took about an hour to play through. And I honestly played through it like 3 times because I did all the difficulties and played all the minigames. Even the unlockable ones. So I probably did more than I needed to. It wasn't great. It was fine for a minigame collection, but definitely not a game that's worth more than like $3, I think. That's really all I gotta say. The music was pretty decent, yeah. I didn't mind. The music was honestly pretty cool. Wait, the glitched ending though. Oh, for Dave Mirra, yeah, that was pretty. I should mention the funny things that happened. Thanks for reminding me of that, Mega. But yeah, that's all I have to really say about Muppets. I didn't give it a great score, but I didn't give it like a 1 out of 1. I think I just gave it a 1 out of 5. I gave it a 1.5 and a 2, and then 2 for difficulty. After Muppets, we had Mario Party Advance. This was the game. I mean, obviously, I love Link to the Past, and that's obviously the best game of this batch. But I give a lot of credit to Mario Party Advance. It's a game that I really appreciate, despite the fact that nobody else really appreciates it that much, except for like my friend Bowser Girl, some of our friends, and just some other people who have played the game. And it'll always have a soft spot in my heart, not just because it's Mario Party, but also just because like I kind of appreciate what they did with it, honestly. And I feel like anyone who says it's the worst Mario Party game ever has never actually played it, and they're just going with the general hive mind of what everyone says on the internet. Just saying. But it is, I think, very underappreciated. I'm not gonna say anyone in chat is like that. I'm not gonna call anyone out. Like, I'm sure that there's people who appreciate it and just maybe don't care for it, but you know, I personally feel it's a bit underappreciated by just the general public. It's just like whenever it gets talked about, it's just like I immediately just see people like just torching it for like no reason. And usually it does end up being just like someone who's never played it before, which is really frustrating to me, but whatever. I digress. I'm gonna not move on because I could rant about this, and I did rant about this during the VOD of that, so I'm not gonna bore you guys with that anymore. But I personally like it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time playing it. I'd say of all the games from this batch, next to Link to the Past, it's probably the one I had the most fun with. But I've also played it before a bunch of times, so kind of not too surprising, I guess. Then we had what I think is probably the biggest surprise for me from this batch. We had Fire Pro Wrestling. I'm not a fighting game fan. I'm not a wrestling game fan. I don't like wrestling in general, but honestly, I didn't really mind this game that much. It was honestly really cool. I think it has a lot of like good aspects of it. It's a really well-controlling wrestling game. It has over 100 characters to play as. It has a lot of different modes, a lot of different customization options. This was one of the few cases where I put game quality above personal enjoyment. While I still gave a pretty decent score for personal enjoyment. So like I gave Fire Pro Wrestling a 4 out of 5, honestly. For quality, and I gave it 3 out of 5 for enjoyment. My biggest problem with the game is the fact they don't give you any tutorials. You literally have to like look up guides or manuals or whatever to actually know what you're doing. I thankfully had Slice in the chat to kind of help guide me through it, and I think Mars also gave me the manual as well, which definitely helped. What did you end up doing for Fire Pro Wrestling? I did the audience match because that's what drew the credits, basically. All the other matches are just like, fight a bunch of different fighters and then just, you win the tournament match or whatever. And yeah, I did the Stoic style because, yeah, that just seemed like the one that was most like beat up your opponent a lot. But yeah, Fire Pro Wrestling was really good. I was really impressed with it. Kind of looking forward to Fire Pro Wrestling 2 because it actually has a tutorial, and I might be a little more inclined to maybe even play a little more of that too, like even beyond just the credits mode or whatever. But yeah, there was no excuse. Like I honestly, guys, I would have considered giving it a 5 if it had a tutorial. I would have considered it because I thought that like for quality it offered a lot for the type of game it was. I probably wouldn't have given it a perfect like for enjoyment, but still, for quality I think it had a lot going for it. And it guys, it was a launch title. Fire Pro Wrestling was a launch title for the system. That's even more incredible. So, yeah, that's. I have a lot of good things to say about it. And last but not least, we had two more games. Both of these games were actually played today. We had Strawberry Shortcake Summertime Adventure. That game was terrible. It was literally just a very, very cheap, low effort platformer collectathon thing. It had a very weird gardening gimmick that didn't even like didn't even make sense. I had to look up a guide just to find out what the hell I was supposed to do. And it just wasn't that fun. I'm really didn't, do much for me. Worst game of the challenge, probably still not tempted to say that, but I think Paws and Claws is still the worst, but it's still not great. Might enjoy Blades of Thunder more than Strawberry Shortcake, maybe. And then we just finished up playing Inspector Gadget Advanced Mission. It was pretty good. It was a pretty decent platformer. I think I preferred TAC over Inspector Gadget, but Inspector Gadget was still fine. It was harmless. Worst thing about it was probably the music, just because it repeated way too soon, and it had basically one track for every single level of the world that was just used. It just didn't stop the track until you beat the world, basically. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that was the fourth batch of games, which means, guys, I think you know what time it is. I think it's time we put this batch behind us. Boop. And move on to the next 10 games of the challenge. I'm gonna also remind you guys of a few key factors of this, by the way, too, before we get started. Okay, so here's the wheel. Right now on this wheel, there are 916 entries. I think there's there's less games than that we have to do. The reason why there's more is that I have actual some games are put in there multiple times. And I guess I'll talk about that now. Just a reminder, for the games on the selection, in addition to every game we haven't played yet, there's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 bonus entries. These games are alternates. These were games that I basically drew in case one of the games didn't work, or if I had to retire one of the games for a little bit, I could use one of these games to replace it with, basically. And I figured it's kind of a cool way to kind of add some extra intrigue to maybe give some games maybe a higher chance of appearing for the list and everything. The alternates we have are the next Land Before Time game, Road Rash Jailbreak, next Backyard Basketball game, next Hot Wheels game, next Magical Quest game, next Super Robot Wars game, next High Heat Major League Baseball game, next Final Fantasy game, Konami Collector's Series Arcade Advanced, and next Teens Titans game. For those wondering what the next means, most of the games that are part of a series are progressive. So that means they'll be, done in a fixed order that we'll determine ahead of time. So if we get any of those games, it'll basically default to whatever that first game is. Just to explain that. And since we are drawing game 50 today, I will say that when we get to the next status update, next status report, I will be making a few announcements. I may actually even be adding a game or two into the list as well. So, yeah, be hype about that. I might also introduce a special bonus stream as well, but I don't want to, announce that yet, obviously. But that could be definitely on the table. And yeah, that's all we got. So guys, I think it is time to get this going. So let's get ready to spin that wheel. Gonna shuffle it a few times. A few more times. Will we finally get our first Yu-Gi-Oh game? Will we get another progressive game that we've already done before? Will we finally get a Bomberman game? Let's find out. Our first game, game 41, is next Matchbox game. Okay, well, let me see what that is, because I have no idea what any of these are. Next Matchbox game. Okay, so we have two Matchbox games. Matchbox Crosstown Heroes and Matchbox Missions Air, Land, and Sea Rescue / Emergency Response. Okay, hold on a second. I need to figure out... This is one I didn't prepare for ahead of time. So we'll just go by release date for this one, I guess. Looks like it's Crosstown Heroes. So Matchbox Crosstown Heroes is what we're playing. Okay, well, that is the first game. Okay, so it seems like it's a very short one, so we'll probably finish that next week. And maybe start the next game after that, probably. Okay. I won't write down the order yet. I'll just... Okay, I got it on there. Okay, let's remove all instances of that. So yeah, there's two Matchbox games. So it went down from 916 to 914. So let's shuffle this many times. Let's spin that wheel. Game 42, we have... Next SSX game. Oh boy. There are two games. We have SSX3 and SSX Tricky. I'll be real, I don't know the order of these, and I don't think I have it on here, so... Looks like it's 3, then Tricky. So, yep, no Tricky. Not Tricky yet. Oh, okay, he didn't realize. Okay, never mind. I don't like that Bread Ghost said, uh-oh, though. Is it just because it's kind of like very technical based, like some of the other kind of extreme sports? Oh, Gonzo hated Tricky and has apparently skipped it. Well, lucky for him, he's not me, so for whatever that's worth anyway. So yeah, SSX3 is the next one we're doing. Or is the first one we're technically doing. Okay, well let's do the next one. Oh, gotcha. Okay, gonna shuffle a few more times. Spin that wheel. Yeah, maybe Gonzo's just butthurt about it. We'll see. 43 is... Wow! Okay. First repeat series. I'm not going to remove this. Like, I'm not gonna, like, call a replacement. But Kong is back. I mean, Donkey Kong is also back, as we know from, you know, the last Direct and everything. But no, we are playing the second out of, I believe, 3 Kong games. We've already played the first one back in game number 7. Technically 8, since I shuffled the order around. And it looks like we're playing Kong, King of Atlantis. That is the next one we're doing. Oh, Gonzo's a hard time playing games that are longer than 2 hours. Okay, I got it. You know, some people call that a skill issue. No, I won't say that. No. Gonzo's been really cool. I'm not going to give him hell for that. It's his challenge. He can do what he wants with it. Nope. If there was a Donkey Kong game, it would have said next Donkey Kong Country game or Jungle Climber or whatever the... Or I think it's King of Swing. Or Mario versus DK. But yeah, our first progressive repeat. That'll be interesting. We're already getting some of those progressives done. Oh, that's cool. Eighth Wonder of the World, yeah. Something to look forward to. You know what else we're going to look forward to? We're going to look forward to Game 44. Eighth Wonder of the World will be the last one, yes. But we still have... there's still 2 left, counting this one that we're doing. Game 44 is... the next Let's Ride game. Doing a lot of series here today, it looks like. Let's Ride. There are 3 games. Let's Ride Dreamer, Let's Ride Sunshine State. Oh god, it's a horse racing game! No! Oh no! Let's Ride Friends Forever. Or a horse ride, not necessarily horse racing. It could be just riding. Could mean that this could be very easy too. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's see which one of these nightmare ones will be playing first. Looks like it's Sunshine Stables. And then after it, this is a weird one where it's. Oh no, it's still in that order though. Never mind. Apparently, Let's Ride Dreamer may have come out before. In PAL region, but like, well, we're doing North American, so it doesn't matter. Dreamer is 2, and then Friends Forever is 3. Friends Forever kind of sounds like the more like final one anyway. Oh god, that's terrible. I'm not looking forward to that. Sunshine Stables is what we're playing. Okay, well, let's wash this one off immediately, please. I'm not loving that Bread Ghost. If I'm being honest with you. Let's get. Oh my god! Stop jinxing it. Stop jinxing it, Bread Ghost. I don't want that right now. Spin. Game 45. We have. Well, Smashing Drive. I don't know what that is. Wait, could that be a golf game? Well, Smashing Drive, Marianne. You really hit that off the tee. Oh, a taxi game. A taxi racer? Or, okay. Okay, that can be fun. You know, when I hear smashing, like I kind of would go with more golf than driving, like actual car driving, but like, you know, it is what it is. Okay, kind of looking forward to that. Lots of racing. I mean, will Sunshine Stable be like an actual racing game, or will it just be like taking care of a horse, or just horseback riding? Like, I don't know. So much I don't know about these games. Okay, well, let's be rebellious and not shuffle. I don't think it really matters much, but more taken care of. No. Okay, correct. X-Men. Another comic book type of game here. Also one of not very many games that have an X in the title to start with. It's going to be either X-Men Reign of the Apocalypse, X-Men the official game, or X2 Wolverine's Revenge. Okay, it looks like Reign of the Apocalypse is first. Then it's X2, then it's the official game. Okay. The first two are unofficial, yeah, I guess. Okay, got that one marked. Let's shuffle a few more times. I see this Rogue, Drake, and Josh right here. Hopefully we don't get that. You know what? Probably a better choice. I don't know. I don't know about that, Wolf. It does say big game. Apparently that's a big, it's a big game. Was it Wolf that said that? Sorry, it may have been. Oh, it was Cheese that said that. My bad. It was because your name was right after that post, and the messages were scrolling too fast. Sorry, my bad. Yo, Piglet's gonna get some glory here. Okay, let's move on to game 48. Let's see. Jet Grind Radio, that's a possibility. The next Spyro game, could get that. Could get our first Pokemon game. Satisfy that RPG crowd. Oh, I hit shuffle again. Whatever. Well, could have been Pokemon. It could have been Pokemon. Oh no, Bread Ghost is saying yes. I don't like the sound of that. This game has a ton of variants. Oh god. This could take 10 hours or 1 hour depending on how much you've studied the... Oh, God. I don't know anything about that. Okay. Anyone who has Bible knowledge may need to be... Oh, no. Might need some help with that one. I'm looking right at you, Wolf. But not for help, just because you're pleasant to look at. Yeah, totally. Blaylock, I spend most of my time at church working on video scripts for this challenge. Okay, let's do this. 49. Robotech, the Mac Ross saga. Not Robotrek, Robotech. Oh, it's an anime. Okay, well, you know. This series got me into Dragon Ball. Could be something. Could be something. Macross summoned him, yeah. Okay. Well, guys, it's time for game number 50. I'm going to hit shuffle 50 times before I select this. Okay, I pressed it 50 times. What are we going to get for game number 50? Milestone 50. Puddles Crew? Didn't Sizz say something like this? Not for number 50, just to, like, he mentioned something about, like, wanting to see me play, like, something for this, like, series or whatever. Yeah, Sizz definitely said that. I'm not going to remember all of that. Oh, it didn't actually remove that from the list, though. Gotta be careful about how I do that. But yeah, that's what's freaking me out about that. Like, Sizz seriously said something like that in, like, Puddles the other day. Although we have to get through Sunshine Stables and Bible Game to get to it, though. Okay, well, gonna break the wheel for just a second here. Here we go. As usual, I'm gonna get a shot of this. No one needs to post this in my server. I got it. Nothing against those who did that before. It's just, you know, my server. I kind of want to be the bringer of those news. So I can say for certain I have not played any of these. Huh. You don't think any of these will take longer than 10 hours truthfully? Maybe Robotech, because I never heard of it. Well, we'll see. We'll see, I guess. Bible game sandwich between Piglet and Robotech. It sure is. Oh, man. Honestly, I'm kind of these games, I'm excited for Smashing Drive. It just kind of seemed like that could be interesting. X-Men could be fun. I'm curious about Robotech and 50 just because of the Sizz thing. Would you swap out 50 if there's more? I don't see why. I don't see why I would do that. You've played exactly half a game. Well, you're also 200 plus games into this challenge from where I am, too, so. Speaking of alternates, which we didn't get rid of any alternates this time, by the way. We are we're gonna pick 3 alternates again. Like I said, these are just in case like a game doesn't work or if I have to like forfeit for the time being or whatever. But what was I gonna say? And also alternates that have been alternates before, games that have been alternates before can get another alternate slot, which means more potential chances to be in the drawing, which is always cool. So yeah, we'll just see what we got. So we have 3 alternates. 1, 2, 3. Alternate number 1 we have is hot potato. Drake and Josh, the alternate. Oh shoot, sorry. My bad. I thought I clicked it, but yeah, it's hot potato. That's one of the weirdest games you've played. Wow. I can't wait to play it. Which, I mean, it's an alternate. It probably won't get picked anyway, but... Okay, well, let's shuffle again, or I'll shuffle twice more. Oh, wait. Shoot. Wolf, 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 hey wolf, hey wolf, 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 hey wolf, 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 hey wolf, 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 wolf. Hi wolf. If only it wasn't it. Well, hey, that means it gets more choice. It gets more slots in the next draw, so it means it'll be more likely. You know, got to look at it from that perspective. And one more spin for the last alternate. You know, it's about time one of these got picked for anything. Next Mega Man Battle Network game. God, there's like 10 of those, by the way. So I believe that's just the first one. Okay, there we go. I don't even know what to do about like the different versions. The list of alts is nuts. I mean, Hot Potato, Puyo Pop, and Mega Man. Right, right. Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's 3 onward. Is when they have multiple versions. No, I'll be doing that too, Bread Ghost. I mean, I think that's kind of the point. I'll just have to figure out a different way to do it, honestly. Like, to make each playthrough unique. Okay, well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. So, there we go, guys. These are the next list of games. We got Matchbox Crosstown Heroes, SSX3, Kong, King of Atlantis, Let's Ride Sunshine Stables, Smashing Drive, X-Men, Reign of the Apocalypse, Piglet's Big Game, Bible Game, Robotech, the Macross Saga, and 50 Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. All this will start next Saturday with Matchbox Crosstown Heroes and probably SSX3 as well, because apparently Matchbox is pretty quick. So, yeah, it'll all start then. I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Let me look at someone to raid. I wish one of the challengers was streaming, but I don't know. I don't see anybody. I don't really feel like raiding Thab because I raided him yesterday. Fred's doing a tournament, so I don't want to do him. I don't think I'm going to raid anybody today. I don't see anybody going on right now. You know, Zebra was still streaming. I'd totally raid him, even if it. But I think he starts around the same time I usually do on Sundays. Hey, great. Well, fun to watch drawings. Looking at it, like, great isn't the word I should use here. Yeah, probably not, Kingo. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna call it here. So thank you guys for watching. Tuesday I'll be live for more Pokemon Violet. So come by if you want to check that out. And then of course on Wednesday we'll do my YouTube stream on around noon for Dynasty Warriors 3. And do not forget that I am doing another Mario Party Madness event on Wednesday as well that evening for the 99 turn Children's Hospital Philadelphia event that Clark always does. So we'll do that on Clark's Madness that night. So those are the upcoming streams. This has been Slim Kirby. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great rest of the day, great rest of the weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Later, folks.